Hey folks, welcome back. I have your latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending September 21, 2022. I go on a lot of home inspections. I'm at every one of the home inspections where our buyers are buying a property. And our home inspector that we recommend, or any home inspector that is a professional home inspector, they have all sorts of gadgets and tools to help them read the moisture on the wall and check the electrical outlets. And so this is their job. I mean, they should have all these different tools. But the home inspector that we recommend has one tool that every time he pulls it out, I'm like, oh no, he's going to find something wrong again. And here's what it is. It's a Kleenex. He pulls out a Kleenex and he goes to the bathroom fans, turns them on, and puts this up there next to the fan to see if it's sucking air. I can't tell you how many times, and it's more yes than no, that the fans are making noise. So you think they work, but they're not sucking in any air. And so what do we find? When we start investigating in the attic or in the ceiling, we find, if this has been happening for years, we find mold. And the homeowners, when we bring this to their attention, are normally, but what do you mean? It works. And they turn the plug on. But it's not sucking in any air. So this is more of a public service announcement. Whether you're putting your home on the market or not, check your ceiling fan. Put a Kleenex there. See if it's sucking air, regardless whether it's making noise or not. If you think this video can help somebody you know, please pass it along. Let's get into the numbers. If you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time and I'll make sure my schedule's organized so we can talk about whatever's on your mind. So we're saying that you should be keeping a close eye on listings for the Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham markets. What I mean by that is not necessarily, the actual properties, but active listings, the volume of properties, how many properties are sitting unsold, because active listings has been creeping up. Now, on its own, it's not a huge metric, but all these different, sales, active listings, months of inventory, they're all tied in together, and active listings is going to give us a lot of information. I'm going to get into the numbers now, and when we get into the listings page, we're going to dive in a little bit deeper. So here's Vaughan, detached properties, broken down by week for a whole year. 18 detached properties were sold. 2 of those were at $2 million or more. Now, 18 sales, I got to tell you, I kind of expected more sales. I mean, we're in the fall market. We're just starting the fall market. We did on the first week of September 27, then 20, now 18. The opposite of what I expect to happen is happening for Vaughan. Average sold price did shoot up a bit. It's now, shot up a lot actually. It's now at $1,606,000. $1,606,000 is 16% lower than last year's average sold price. And the median price is 13% lower than last year's median price. Now, the median price is sitting at $1,383,000. But have a look at the dotted lines here. I have one set of dotted lines for the average sold price, another set for the median price. The dotted line, that's the 4-week moving average. And it kind of gives us, it helps to eliminate the peaks and the valleys and gives us an idea of trend. And for average sold price, if we go back 4 to 6 weeks, it's been steady for a while, but now we're starting to see it go down. And the same thing with the median price. Since the beginning of August, it's kind of been steady and now starting to see a dip down in prices. As far as sales go, 11%, I mean, we're talking only 18 sales, but 11%, what is that? 2 of them sold at list price or more. But look at this number, 42% fewer sales this year, year to date versus last year. That number's been creeping up. It was at 40, then 41, now it's at 42%. So look at listings, 14% fewer listings this year than last year. So when we were talking about sales, I mentioned sales are each week seems to be going lower. Listings, which is the orange here, the blue is last year's listings, but listings have been increasing each week. And when we look at active listings, now active listings are the amount of listings actually available for sale right at the end of the period. So midnight, September 21, we had 306 active detached properties on the market available for sale. That number, although it was coming down for the last couple of weeks, it's actually been increasing. And more active listings on its own doesn't tell us a lot, but when active listings are increasing and sales are coming down, well, that just means we're going to see more properties out there sitting longer, and that's going to increase months of inventory. So it's one metric to keep an eye on, and we're seeing active listings increasing here, and we're seeing it across York region. I'll show you the other charts in a second. Months of inventory jumped way up, sitting at 3.9 months of inventory. 22 is the average days on market. That's for Vaughan. Richmond Hill, 15 detached properties were sold. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. Average sold price also went up to $1,861,000. Compared to last year, we're sitting at basically the same average sold price. No change from last year. But when we look a little bit closer, average sold price is actually 0.4% more. On the previous slide, I ran around up or down to whole numbers. But when I break it down here, it's actually 0.4% higher than last year's average sold price. The median price is 4% higher than last year's median price. The median price for Richmond Hill for detached properties for this week is sitting at $1,718,000. And when we look at the 4-week moving average for average sold price, it's creeping down slightly. But if we look at the median price, it's pretty steady, but just slightly going up a little bit over the past 4 weeks. Year-to-date sales, 41% fewer sales this year versus last year, year-to-date sales. Now, let's look at last year's sales. You see the blue? This is the fall market. This is kind of what we expected, which most years this is what happens. Sales in the fall tend to go up, and then they come down as we get into the end of November, December months. But that's not what's happening this year. It's 15, 12, and we're at 15 again. We're not seeing the increase in sales. Let's, here's, where are we here? Listings, okay, sorry. 38 listings for week ending September 21, 23% fewer active listings, 23% fewer listings year to date. Active listings, which I was speaking about Vaughan a little while ago, we're seeing active listings for the last couple of weeks increasing. And months of inventory sitting at 3.4 months of inventory, getting pretty close to the border of what we would call a balanced market. But in a lot of situations, it's the feeling on the road is more of a buyer's type of market. Here's Markham. Sales dropped from last week. The previous week, they went up to 25, and we thought, oh, well, before that we did 12. They shot up to 25. This is a typical fall market. And then, boom, we're back down again in sales. So 19 detached properties were sold in Markham. One of those was at $2 million or more. Average sold price also went up to, it's now sitting at $1,672,000. So for Vaughan, Richmond Hill, and Markham, average sold price went up. $1,672,000 is 5% lower than last year's average sold price. Median price is 1% higher than last year's median price. And if we look at the 4-week moving average, both for median price and for average sold price. It's pretty steady, but for median, it kind of looks like it's creeping up a little bit. So it's steady, but with just a little bit over the last 4 to 6 weeks. Looks like it's been creeping up. Sales, I was saying for Vaughan and Richmond Hill, 42% fewer sales year to date. Markham, 48% fewer sales year to date. That's a big difference in volume. And when we look at, again, listings, well, we've got 28% fewer listings year to date. But look at active listings. It's also over the last few weeks been increasing. It's now sitting at 200. The previous week, 172. And months of inventory climbed up a little bit. It's sitting at 2.4 months of inventory. Let's look at York Region condos. Now, this is for all of York Region condos. 33 condos were sold across York Region. For condos, with the sales increasing each week in the fall market, that would be considered normal, seasonal. 2 of those condos of the 33 were sold at $1 million or more. Average sold price has come down a little bit. It's sitting at $703,000. $703,000 is 4% higher than last year's average sold price. The median price is $655,000, and that's 1% higher than last year's median price. Not a ton of movement in price-wise as far as condos go versus last year. However, looking at the 4-week moving average really paints a picture of over the last 4 to 6 weeks of prices going up for condos in York Region. Year-to-date sales, we have 32% fewer condo sales year-to-date. And as far as listings go, we have 5% more listings this year-to-date versus last year. And months of inventory has gone up slightly from the previous week. Sorry, not months of inventory. Active listings has gone up slightly from the previous week. Months of inventory sitting at 3.5. It's down just slightly from the previous week. Here's a summary of all the months of inventory. We're in a lot of situations just approaching the 4 months of inventory. And 4 to 6 months is what we would normally consider a balanced market. But because we're still coming down from the high. Now, in most cases, it's ancient history, January, February, but because of the attitudes and just the way things were, for a lot of people, they're still very much emotionally attached to what was happening at the beginning of the year. The fact that we've got properties sitting longer, the fact that we could put conditions on offers, the fact that buyers could think about things, the fact that we can negotiate prices feels very much like, at the very least, a balanced market or a buyer's market. Even though months of inventory doesn't quite show that picture, that's how it feels in the road. If you need help, anything, you have questions, please reach out. Hope you found this video helpful. Have a great day.